Welcome to Medicine for the Soul. My name is Sih Yu Chen. I am a hypnotherapist and artist. Hello. Welcome to the show. So, in today, the second episode, I'm going to talk about hypnotherapy and hypnosis. This episode will bring you an idea about a very, very basic knowledge. What is hypnotherapy? What does it do? What can you expect? Okay, straight into the point. Let me start from hypnosis rather than hypnotherapy because they are different. They're not the same. So let's start from what most people have heard about. It's called hypnosis. Like I said in the first episode, I am from Taiwan. I was born in Taiwan. I grew up in Taiwan. So I can share with everybody. Before I was trained and qualified as a clinical hypnotherapist, let's talk about long gone ago. What was my knowledge and understanding about hypnosis in Taiwan? Okay, so when I was a child, I didn't have the internet. So I grew up that period of time, mostly you require information from radio or TV. So I remember there used to be a really, really popular TV show in Taiwan. In that show, they regularly invited different guests, usually celebrities and stars, and they arranged I remember it's like a hypnotist. Somebody can do hypnosis. And just for entertainment purpose and hypnotize people. And you see stars, they began to do silly things, could be singing some kind of song or, treat a banana as a phone, hold somebody's foot and try to speak to the foot, something like that. So that kind of TV show and that kind of entertainment. I can't say they brought people in Taiwan in idea or a bad idea about hypnosis, but surely has done some kind of impression for a lot of Taiwanese people, especially a child like me, built the very strong impression, wow, this is what hypnosis can do. It's quite powerful, but it is a bit silly, isn't it? Okay, so how about in the UK? I have to say it's quite similar in the sense many people, when they talk about hypnosis, usually, on stage. Many people talk about on stage, some kind of TV show or some kind of performance you can see on TV. And so many people in this country, yes, send us in Taiwan, they have some kind of impression that if you talk about hypnosis or somebody hypnotize you, you might do something silly. That's the, broadly speaking, some kind of impression many people have. However, I must talk about what's going on in Taiwan. This is now, in this new period of time, it's no longer TV radio based or TV radio only kind of period of time. We are living in an era with a lot of information constantly coming in and out so fast. However, has this actually changed much about people's impression of hypnosis? Maybe so. We'll see. And so, okay, in Taiwan, I have to say that, in Taiwan, the laws are different compared to here and everywhere else. We have our own law system in Taiwan. So therefore, hypnosis in Taiwan is unregulated. However, in Taiwan, the laws actually said if you are a qualified counselor in Taiwan, meaning you are qualified and you are recognized by the government in Taiwan, practice as a proper counselor. Okay, so then in that case, then you can receive the training of hypnotherapy and apply hypnotherapy to your practice, like adding on to the top of the skills you have. And if not, anyone else not really allowed by the laws in Taiwan. And I didn't know this until I got into the training in the UK. I was qualified in the UK, by the way. So, because during my training, I thought, I might be able to, because, my first language is actually Mandarin Chinese. So I might be able to do it in Taiwan or with the people in Taiwan online. However, after digging a bit deeper, and I found out this is not going to happen because I am not a qualified counselor in Taiwan. I also not going to, for now, I'm not going to receive any training for counseling. So I cannot legally practice as a hypnotherapist in Taiwan. However, I can really be focused on my UK domestic market. I can just really practice here and then just, So just think about the opposite side. The UK, although hypnosis, they're not really regulated in this country by laws. However, that also means we have the freedom. It is not a negative thing or a positive thing. It's just the fact. This sector, hypnotherapy in the UK, we can practice, not unlawful. So, okay, here in the UK, laws compared to Taiwan much more open and much more friendly to our hypnotherapist. Okay, that's the situation. Just let you know about this. But of course, there are many people might say, it's unregulated in the UK. How do I trust you? How do I believe what you say is true? Yes, I might make another episode just to talk about there was a piece of news on BBC that I saw quite a few weeks ago. It is about somebody, I think it's a counselor's misconduct in practice. So, not in today's show. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just talking about in general. I think hypnosis in the UK, I think people here, broadly speaking, have higher acceptance than in Taiwan. And I think it's because people in Taiwan, broadly speaking, don't really know what is hypnosis, let alone hypnotherapy, unfortunately, because they don't know much about it in Taiwan. Therefore, I think people's understanding low, acceptance also low. However, I think the fact Taiwan is changing, people might realize that hypnotherapy is such a powerful tool or method, can help you with lots of things. Anyway, I think it might change or it might not. So let's come back to talk about in the UK, hypnotherapy, hypnosis. They are areas that people, from my impression and what I chat with people and to ask if people know anything about them and this kind of thing. So I found out people here accept hypnotherapy much more than in Taiwan. It's just my personal experience. So apart from this, let's talk about, that's like I said earlier, I say hypnosis and hypnotherapy are two separate things. Don't get me wrong, they kind of share some kind of similarities, but not same thing, okay? I'm going to talk about hypnotherapy rather than just hypnosis because I am a hypnotherapist rather than a hypnotist. Right. So what is hypnotherapy? It's simple. Hypno plus therapy. So essentially, to me, hypnotherapy is hypnosis plus counseling. The major difference between counseling, hypnotherapy counseling part, although it is really, really vital, but we are very purpose driven. So in hypnotherapy, we really focused on finding solutions and work together with our client. Therefore, we set up goals. We talk about ideas. We talk about possibilities. So that's the major difference. So, for example, a lot of people know when that's another thing about impression. If you ask people in the UK, oh, what do you know about hypnotherapy? Many people just answer, give up smoking, lose weight. Both right, because those are quite common reasons why people come to hypnotherapy, yes. So just for example, give up smoking. There are many other reasons you might need our help. But talk about smoking as a habit. And in hypnotherapy, we tend to go deeper to find what's behind, what's underneath these habits. Is it because of your stress? Because you are actually looking for some kind of sense of security, or whatever reason. In hypnotherapy, we work together to find reasons and find solutions. If that makes sense to you, that's hypnotherapy. From my point of view only, I'm not a qualified counselor. But I do know people who have been in counseling before. So I haven't, okay. So I can share what I know, just very briefly, very general knowledge about counseling. I think from what I know, okay, in counseling, okay, we tend not to have to find a way to resolve anything or to help anything. It is really a process that a professional, a counselor you can trust, would just give you a lot of maybe let's say directions and help you to think. You might in the end come up with some solutions yourself or might not, but that is not the point in counseling. However, in hypnotherapy, we tend not to do this. We tend to be really solution focused. We help you, for example, give up smoking is a bad habit, and how do we change this? So yes, here is a very, very important thing in hypnotherapy. It's about making a change, making a positive change. And that's hypnotherapy, and it makes it quite different from other type of therapy. Okay, so next I would like to talk about, if we talk about hypnosis or hypnotherapy, many probably have heard of this one thing. One very key element is called subconscious mind. Have you heard of this before? Okay, so just a very general and brief idea for you to see what is the difference between conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So conscious mind, think about this, when you are awake, you doesn't really matter daytime or nighttime, because some people do night shifts, don't they? So as long as you are awake, we survive because we have our five senses, or anyway, senses to help us to survive. So we can hear it, we can see things, we can smell, we touch. So they're like receivers to help us get signals. So we function, we know what to, we call that to choose. In hypnotherapy, you can also say this as, critical faculty, meaning you know how to survive, you choose, you select. I don't want this, I want that. We call consciously to make decisions. Yeah. So conscious mind is this. While you're awake, you are constantly, me too, we are constantly choosing. While subconscious mind is the bit usually silent, it is silently just like a gate, and it opens and it closes. So our subconscious mind is usually silent, that we don't usually notice, but it is there. It is there, guarding, shall we say, guarding and working for us and with us. What it does is, like I said earlier, it's like a gate. It opens several times a day. Quite often it opens, we don't even know it. And then you might say, okay, when does it open? Okay, it opens when you are, usually when you are relaxed, or when you are really, really, just let's say, give you an example. When you are doing something like let's say like driving, and you really, really focused on driving. So you're not talking to anybody, you really focus on driving. Or it could be anything you really focused on. Some people like meditation, don't they? And anything, it could be anything. You could be, while your eyes open. It doesn't necessarily mean you are having your eyes shut and doing specific activities. Subconscious mind opens, like I said, several times a day, and it comes up, down, anytime, as long as your mind, your body is in a specific state, then it opens up. So think about this, like I said earlier, driving. When you're driving and you have the radio on, so the radio might be saying something, but you are driving. Okay, so in the radio, they could be saying, oh, the traffic, there could be adverse, saying, oh, something on sale, could be telling you some kind of event going on this weekend or next week somewhere. However, because you really, really focus on driving, and your subconscious mind can take those information in for you, and you don't even know it. So at some point, you'll be like, for example, oh, somebody, like a cue, somebody says, oh, music, festival, some keywords, and you'll be like, okay, oh, hang on a minute, I know somewhere next week or next month there is a music festival going on, and another person might be asking you, okay, how did you know that? Or where did you hear that? You might not remember anything, but you just knew. You just like, maybe I can't remember where, but oh yeah, maybe it's in the radio or on TV or maybe TikTok, on the internet somewhere. I just knew there is a big thing coming and we might like it. Okay. Something like this. I'm just giving you an example about how subconscious mind works. So this kind of we call moments. It can happen several times a day. From sitting in a meeting, you are hearing somebody talking, or let's say make it go even bigger. You could be seen like in a massive group, like military, in the Navy. People sit and listen to somebody or some people talk about something. And like I've talked in this process, it can turn your body and mind into this kind of state to receive and to open up your subconscious mind and to receive what we call suggestions, messages. So I don't know, up to this point, what you think about subconscious mind? What's your opinion about subconscious mind? Do you think it is useful? Or does it make you start to think, oh, then do I need to be more careful with what I get in through the gates, the subconscious mind? My point of view. I think because since subconscious mind is like a little bit like coding, if you purposely use it in a certain way, and you give it some kind of code to let it run in the background. So it would be like a software or an app, just in you and silently, quietly working for you and with you. And if you give it a really good or positive purpose, a task, or just let it run, and it can really, really benefit you a lot in your daily life. So that is why hypnotherapy is a good way for example, give up smoking, or some other issues people may have. It's because think about hypnotherapists, we like writing this code with you rather than we invent it. We work together and we come up with like a program. Basically, just through your subconscious mind, let it go in through the gate and let it stay in you and work like a background software or app, and constantly to remind you about, okay, you can do this, or you need to do this, and you want to do this, and day after day after day. So it's amazing. If you know purposely, how to use your subconscious mind based on some positive purpose, and it really can change your daily life a lot, or even change the way you think. On the other hand, you think about, sometimes we talk about in some specific situations, or sometimes in some things, we all of a sudden we just react, or we respond. We not only react, we respond in a certain way. We don't even know why we do this or why I say this. Quite often you can track back to your subconscious mind and think about, oh, what's in it? What's in the program? What's the coding like? Therefore, I have such belief, or I have such behavior, or I have this habit, I respond this way. And so, yeah, think about this and think about your subconscious mind. How do you use your subconscious mind is quite a key. This is coming to the very, very end. I'm going to talk about the last thing about hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is not to do with, right, I'm only going to set up this program and let it work for me, and then that's that. It's not. Like I said, hypnotherapy, I have to say again, it's very important, everyone. Hypnotherapy, to me, essentially is hypnosis plus counseling. So in this counseling part, we discuss and we talk about what change you want to make, and what can benefit your life or yourself. Hypnosis is just part of it rather than everything. Another very important thing people often forget is you need to do the work rather than the hypnotherapist do it for you, because nobody can do it for you. It's your own subconscious mind, not mine. So in hypnotherapy, you go home, you still need to help yourself. For example, if you want to give up smoking, there are many ways. For example, like you could be finding yourself an app and set up some kind of reminders to help yourself, rather than just come to hypnotherapy sessions and hope you go home and then just everything changes all of a sudden in a click. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to do the work, and you are the gate watcher. You are the person to change the game, okay? Hypnosis, counseling, all therapy, it's just part of the process, and to help you to get there. But you are the person taking yourself to there where you want to go. It's very important. The last, very, very final thing is some people I've heard people talk about in hypnotherapy, hypnosis. If I am hypnotized, am I sleeping? The answer is no, you are not asleep in this process. Okay, you are not asleep. You are shall we say, a bit like half awake. How do I describe this? I can give you my personal experience in this. Like, I'm a person after giving birth. I I fell into a kind of like a routine. So my sleep, every night I get up partway through my sleep, and then I go to toilet, and then I come back to carry on my sleep. But because you're in bed, you're asleep, you get up, and you are kind of awake, but you're not awake enough to take myself to the toilet and then complete the business and then come back. But in this process, I can be really, really sleepy and just can't wait to quickly go back to the bed. So we'll talk about trance. You've heard of trance, yes. When your brain and your body, you reach trance, it is similar to this, like half asleep. You're not really fully asleep, and therefore you still hold all the control over your body, your mind, and your everything. You are not controlled by another person in hypnotherapy. However, when you are really, really relaxed into, we call that trance state, you should be feeling, in theory, you should be feeling like, oh, I'm really focused on what at the moment I'm guided to do or to think or to imagine. So at this point, you find your hypnotherapist, his or her voice, whatever he or she is saying, then it becomes some kind of background music, noise, what have you, like in the background, rather than understanding all the context. If you see what I mean, you lose the context in this process. However, it is for your subconscious mind to take, not you, if that makes sense. Yes. So in this process, you are definitely not asleep. However, some people can fall asleep. I tend, if just me, I tend to let them, I tend to wait, let them like go for a little bit longer before I wake them up. In this process, we highly recommend people just, you can't control them, but I highly recommend not to really go, proper fall asleep. What we want here really is a trance state rather than sleeping through the entire session. Okay, so I hope today's information has given you some kind of very general idea about what is hypnotherapy. Also, don't worry about hypnosis and being hypnotized, because if you work with a qualified hypnotherapist and a qualified person through proper training, and he or she should be guiding you through a very safe and comfortable way to help you with your goal, with your challenge. So in next episode, let me see. In next episode, I'll be telling everyone how do we choose a suitable hypnotherapist for us. What do we look at? How do I set up not a list, but how do I choose for myself or for my children or for my partner? This process, there are quite a few things you can look into, from the qualification, the training, the membership, and things like that. I will be making another episode just to talk about this. But thank you for today. Thank you again. If you are quite curious, this is your first time, this is only my second episode, you are more than welcome to go to the first episode, because in that very first episode I talked about who I am briefly. Hope to give you some kind of more ideas about who I am and what type of hypnotherapist I am. And okay, so thank you for coming. See you